Welcome to another edition of the Nightly Nuge. And Ted, we alluded to it last night. Your president, Joe Biden, came down to your home state of Texas just to see what's going on down there at the border. And, you know, I was really shocked at some of the photos. And I think our listeners deserve to see this because we're going to show some photos now of the border as it has been for 2+ years since Biden took over. And then photos of what the border looked like on the op-ed when Biden showed up down there. I don't know about you, Ted, but I see a considerable difference between the two pictures. And no wonder Biden doesn't think it's a problem. I'm going to give you some statistics in a minute, but what's your take on this whole optic?
Well, I think you do know me, Keith, because I'm the truth, logic, and common sense daddy, and a big Black Rifle truth, logic, and common sense coffee. Salute to everybody out there who was honest. Our government doesn't have a fiber of honesty. We all know Fox News has been doing God's work, identifying and spotlighting the cockroaches and the invasion, the nonstop invasion of America through our open borders. And when you have open borders, you're not even a nation. And we know that they lied and they cheated and they baited and switched and they made it look just hunky-dory when the mumbler in chief, when the syllable challenge chief goofball infesting our White House went down there to continue to perpetrate his lie. He actually will look at footage. We all look at the footage of the invasion. Thousands, tens of thousands, now millions, just millions of gotaways, Keith. He knows this. He's brain dead and he has no soul, but he knows this, but he's the consummate liar. Not an honest bone in the U.S. government. I know there's some Republicans, and even down along the Texas border, there's some Democrats that got their head out of their ass, and they're admitting it's an invasion. And Uncle Sam is coordinating it, and the chief liar of Uncle Sam is continuing to lie. Our borders are open. America is currently not a nation.
Yeah. And you saw, as I did and the rest of America that watch real news outlets, the actual war that was going on between the cartels and the Mexican government right along the border. I mean, we're not only talking about machine guns, we're talking about aerial attacks. I mean, legitimate warfare going on down there. Then I noticed that Katie Hobbs, in one of her first moves, is since she overwhelmingly won the governorship down there in Arizona, that she removed the border, the boxcars that were down on the border that had proven successful. And I guess she felt that because she got such a large mandate from the populace of Arizona, that she could do that. But I do want to give you some stats here on your state down there's border. Under President Trump in 2017, we had the lowest border crossings since 1971, 415,000. 2018, 521,000. 2019, 977,000. And then in 2020, 458,000. Okay, low numbers under President Trump. Under President Biden in 2021, 1,734,000 crossings, which is 1 million more than any Trump year. And then, Ted, listen, I know you're sitting down. You might want to lean back. In 2022, when you talk invasion, the all-time illegal border crossings occurred under Joe Biden in 2022, 2,378,944,000. And this is according to interactive polls. Ted, if that's not an invasion, if that is not open warfare on our country, honestly, I don't know. What is your take?
Well, we appreciate you repeating those statistics because we do research here at the Nightly News. A salute to you, Keith. Honesty is always the best policy. I know those statistics. I live here in Texas, and my governor, who is not a bad guy, but he's turning into a bad guy because he's processing invaders. Who would process invaders into our country? Who would give bus tickets to people illegally invading our country? Governor Abbott, you got to get cracking here, man. You've got to secure the entire Texas border, and Arizona's got to secure their entire border. California has to secure their entire border, and we got to quit orchestrating the invasion of America because Uncle Sam knows it's going on. Uncle Sam is not stopping it. If that's not the definition of treason, Keith, I'm Caitlyn Jenner's boy toy. We are being invaded. And it's absolutely treasonous. It's absolutely dangerous. It's the orchestrated end of the American dream. And believe me, I love immigrants. My grandparents came from Sweden. They learned English and they became assets to their neighbors and their country and mankind. My grandpa, Henning Johansson, literally is responsible for the Chicago skyline. He went to work every day at 4 and came home every day at 6 or 7, all his life. My brother John was the foreman of the Pepper Construction Company. What my grandpa Henning Johansson did, my brother John Nugent continued. So I know that people come here for the American dream, but it's only legitimate when you come legally. Right. So, Keith, these are tragic times, and you're listing the numbers that we know. There are millions of gotaways, and they're not just from Mexico. They're from Sudan. They're from all over Europe and Asia and our enemies' countries, and they're not unaccompanied children. By the way, there's 2 points I'd like to emphasize here. Where the hell are all the children, you sex trafficking monsters? Where are all those children? And when they identify, they lie that there's unaccompanied children coming over that I think they're whisking away. I really believe it's satanic. That's why they're trying to groom children to accept RuPaul and perverts twerking crotches to children during drag queen events. It's all about a really horrible, sinful, orchestrated event. And then those unaccompanied children that vanish, we have no idea where they are, who they are, or how they got here. Then the rest of them are military-age men who are so desperate, they will obey anti-American orders from our government and our military and some law enforcement who have no desire whatsoever to fulfill their oath and honor their sacred oath to the U.S. Constitution. So we're in treacherous times, and the border is the manifestation of a cultural abandonment. Shame on Uncle Sam.
2 last points I want to make, Ted. Joe Biden said that there's enough fentanyl coming across the border to kill a few 100,000 people, which was just a tragic mistake. I know they say that he has
a lie. He's a liar.
It could kill literally half of the population in America and more. So, I mean, he understated that. Some say it's a blunder. I believe it's orchestrated. But I'll tell you, your governor did, which reminded me that fat Chris Christie did during the hurricane right before the Obama reelection, when he met Obama and thanked him for all his kindness and blah, blah, blah. And then Obama went on to win that state and Christie went on to be a turncoat. And if I said fat Chris Christie, I'm sorry. It just comes out sometimes. Like when I think of Frank Luntz, the pollster, I always call him Fat Frank, even though he's not fat anymore. But I digress. Your governor, Abbott, who I know you are not overly happy with, he saw the opportunity to do a big photo op. And he met with the president, but he gave a stern letter. And I'm just going to read to you a couple lines here. It says, you must immediately resume construction of the border wall in the state of Texas. You must aggressively prosecute illegal entry between the ports of entry. You must designate the Mexican cartels as foreign terrorists. You must stop, and then so on and so forth. My question to you, Ted, is why doesn't Governor Abbott bring out the National Guard himself? I mean, what kind of language is this? Ted, here's the deal. You have people coming into your ranch down there in Texas. You're going to call your local sheriff and say, I need you to secure my border? No, I think Ted Nugent's going to secure his own border. I mean, I thought Texans were better than this. A stern letter to follow. Boy, that just doesn't sound like Texas to me.
To his credit, those points in that letter are an example of when Governor Greg Abbott surfaces to Texas and American standards. But he shouldn't have delivered it on this late date in January 2023. He should have said it in person He should have been stern, and he should have scolded this horrible, horrible, treasonous, criminal gangster Joe Biden when he met him. He should have forced a meeting when Joe Biden took his pledge to become the commander-in-chief of the United States of America. And of course, he violates that pledge every day of his life. Greg Abbott, I helped get him elected because he's a constitutionalist, but he's become a moderate. He's become a compromiser. He's got the National Guard in some sections of the border. He's got Cantina Wire in some sections of the border, but that he's spending our billions of tax dollars creating giant processing buildings. You don't process invaders. You either turn them back or you shoot them. That's my policy. And people go, well, you can't shoot. When someone invades my property, they have the chance to either turn around and get out post haste, or I may have to enact my instinct and my legal obligation to neutralize what is a clear and present threat. Invaders are a clear and present threat. You either turn them back or you neutralize them. Now, I can hear the media go, Nugent wants to kill everybody coming across the border. No, I want to turn them back. But if you insist on invading my country, there are rules of engagement that have proven to be effective throughout history. And you don't process them. You don't welcome them. You don't give them my tax dollars and allow an arrest warrant to be their source of identification to get on a plane to fly to Des Moines. Keith, I'm telling you, the definition of insanity is available to us here in America every minute of every day because our government has turned on we the people. They care more about illegal, dangerous, unidentified invaders than they do their own citizens. These are sad, sad times.
Well, on the topic of sad times, Ted, tomorrow night, I want to talk to you about gender confusion, bathroom confusion, and the fact that our federal government, the military, and the VA, they're going to go along with that. And I'll maybe even show you a gingerbread man picture to maybe help you out a little bit tomorrow night, right here on the Nightly Nooch.
Truth, logic, and common sense. It's the wind beneath my wings, and I'm a bird of prey. Live it up.